Waking up at 3 a.m. again? You're not alone. Many seniors experience this strange, silent hour, eyes wide open, heart beating faster than it should, with sleep nowhere in sight. It's not random. Your body is whispering something important, and sometimes even shouting. Whether it's your mind wrestling with buried worries or your organs sending distress signals, 3 a.m. is a mysterious wake-up call you can't afford to ignore. If this has been happening to you or someone you love, it's time to understand the deeper message and what your body is really asking for in the dark. If you've been quietly suffering through sleepless nights or 3 a.m. awakenings, this video may be the answer you've needed. Subscribe for more trusted senior health advice and let us know in the comments, how often does this happen to you? You're not alone, and we're here to help. Your liver is one of the hardest working organs in your body. It filters toxins, processes nutrients, helps digest food, and even plays a major role in balancing hormones and blood sugar. But after the age of 60, it doesn't recover or function as quickly as it once did. Doctors have observed that liver efficiency tends to decline with age, especially when overloaded with unhealthy foods or late-night eating habits. When seniors eat heavy meals close to bedtime, especially those high in sugar, fat, or alcohol, the liver is forced to work overtime during hours when it should be winding down and entering its natural rest phase. This overload doesn't just cause fatigue or sluggish digestion. It can actually wake you up in the middle of the night. Experts explain that liver activity follows a natural rhythm based on your body clock. Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., the liver is meant to go into its peak detoxification mode, quietly breaking down waste and restoring internal balance. But if it's overwhelmed by toxins, sugar spikes, or alcohol residues, this process becomes stressful. The body reacts by releasing stress hormones like adrenaline or cortisol, which can jolt you awake, often at exactly 3 a.m. This wake-up call isn't just annoying, it's your body sounding an internal alarm. Studies show that people who wake around this time, especially repeatedly, often have underlying metabolic or inflammatory issues linked to liver strain. If you've been waking up around 3 a.m. with no clear reason, your liver might be asking for help, not through pain, but through disrupted sleep, night sweats, or even a slight racing heart. Doctors have observed that for seniors, liver function is more vulnerable than most realize. Decades of processed food, alcohol, certain medications, and chronic stress can all add up. And because the liver has no pain nerves, you won't feel it hurting. You'll feel it through symptoms like poor sleep, morning grogginess, brain fog, or digestive issues after rich meals. One of the most overlooked causes of poor sleep in seniors is the silent burden placed on the liver by daily habits that seem harmless, like that glass of wine with dinner or the sweet snack before bed. Late-night eating can be especially harmful. When you eat close to bedtime, your digestive system stays active, preventing the liver from entering its cleansing mode. If the meal is high in saturated fats, sugary desserts, or processed carbs, the liver struggles even more. Studies show that high blood sugar at night increases oxidative stress in the liver, a damaging process that creates inflammation. That inflammation can trigger a stress response, which disrupts sleep. Many seniors find themselves wide awake at 3 a.m. without knowing why, when in fact it's often a biological reaction to something they ate just a few hours earlier. Alcohol is another major culprit. While a small glass of wine might feel relaxing, experts warn that alcohol puts a heavy load on the liver, especially in older adults. As we age, our bodies lose some ability to process alcohol efficiently. What was once a harmless habit can now lead to disrupted sleep, night sweats, and long-term liver strain. Even small amounts can interfere with detoxification rhythms, increasing the risk of waking up in the early morning hours. Doctors emphasize that this pattern is not something to brush aside. Waking at 3 a.m. regularly may seem like a small inconvenience, but over time it leads to sleep debt, poor healing, weakened immunity, and cognitive decline. Sleep is when the body repairs itself, especially vital organs like the brain and heart. If your liver is interrupting this process night after night, the long-term effects can quietly build. And because these signs are subtle, many seniors don't realize their sleep and energy problems are tied directly to liver health. The good news is that the liver is one of the most regenerative organs in the body. If you give it the right support, it can heal, even after years of strain. Experts suggest focusing on lighter evening meals with more vegetables, fiber, and clean proteins. Avoiding sugar, fried foods, and alcohol after sunset allows your liver to detox in peace during those key nighttime hours. Adding simple habits like staying hydrated, getting gentle movement during the day, and sticking to regular sleep times also makes a real difference. If you're waking at 3 a.m. again and again, take it seriously. Your liver may be quietly asking for relief. It's not about fear, it's about listening. Your body is wise, and at this stage of life, every signal matters. When you support your liver, you're not just helping it detox. You're giving your whole body the rest and restoration it needs to stay strong, sharp, and peaceful through the night. You deserve that sleep. And your liver deserves a little kindness too. You lie in bed, still and quiet, but something inside you isn't. You wake suddenly around 3 a.m., not because of a sound, not because you're fully rested, but because your body won't let you stay asleep. Your heart feels slightly faster. Your thoughts begin to race. You can't quite place what's wrong, but deep down, you know this keeps happening. And you're not alone. Experts explain that this kind of early morning waking is often tied to stress hormones, especially in older adults. When anxiety, grief, or emotional tension goes unspoken during the day, it doesn't just disappear. It hides, and it waits. Then, in the middle of the night, it quietly surfaces. Cortisol is the main hormone involved. It's your body's natural stress response, meant to help you wake, think clearly, and deal with danger. But doctors have observed that for many seniors, cortisol levels don't stay where they should. Instead of rising gently near sunrise, they spike in the early hours of the night, most often between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. This spike can jolt you out of sleep with no warning. You may feel a flutter in your chest, a sudden feeling of alertness, or a flood of thoughts you didn't expect. It's not a dream, it's a chemical signal, and it's often triggered by emotions you haven't fully released. Anxiety is more common in seniors than many realize, but it looks different than in younger people. It's quieter. It hides behind habits, behind the effort to stay strong, behind the silence of wanting to not bother anyone. But the body keeps score. Studies show that unspoken stress, past, grief, and even guilt can build up and show themselves through sleep disturbance, especially in the early morning hours, when your brain enters a light stage of sleep and your defenses are low. The mind takes that moment to process what was pushed aside. Doctors have observed this pattern especially in those caring for loved ones, coping with chronic illness, or adjusting to retirement and loneliness. Life changes bring with them invisible weight. Even happy events like becoming a grandparent can come with unexpected pressure or fear. These emotions, if unexpressed, stir quietly through the night. And at 3 a.m., they often reach the surface. That is when cortisol peaks, not by chance, but by the body trying to solve a problem it didn't get time to solve during the day. Suppressed emotions also affect your nervous system. When your mind holds stress in, your body becomes more alert at the wrong times. Instead of entering deep, healing sleep, your brain stays partially alert, waiting for something to happen. This alertness doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it just feels like shallow sleep, tossing or waking too early. But over time, this steals rest from your heart, your memory, your mood, and your immune system. Experts explain that seniors often don't realize how much unresolved emotion they carry until it shows up in disrupted sleep. And nighttime anxiety doesn't always look like fear. It can be subtle. You may feel a tight chest, slight sweating, or just a feeling that something is off. If this happens at the same time, night after night, your body is trying to speak to you, and what it wants is relief. That's why nighttime rituals matter more than ever. Doctors have found that calming the nervous system before bed can reduce nighttime cortisol spikes. Gentle routines like journaling, guided audio meditations, prayer, or even slow breathing can help the brain feel safe enough to rest deeply. When the mind feels heard, it lets go. And when it lets go, sleep becomes easier. Not forced, but natural. The key is not to ignore your thoughts, but to gently welcome them before bed so they don't return in the dark. Avoid stimulating activities in the late evening. That includes upsetting news, arguments, or even too much mental stimulation from screens. Your brain needs time to wind down, to feel safe. If possible, end your day with softness, light reading, quiet music, gratitude, anything that helps. You feel settled and safe, because what you carry into sleep, your body continues to process overnight. The 3 a.m. wake-up is not always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. And that's just as important. You're allowed to feel what you feel. You've lived through so much, and every experience, every joy and every hurt deserves space. When you give your emotions a voice during the day, they don't need to wake you at night. So if you've been waking up at 3 a.m. with your heart a little faster and your mind a little heavy, listen with care. Your body isn't trying to scare you, it's asking for peace. And that peace is possible when you allow your heart to be heard. One quiet moment of honesty, one small ritual of care can lead to deeper rest and softer mornings. You deserve that rest, and your body will thank you for giving it space to finally exhale. You wake up suddenly around 3 a.m., your body tense, your heart beating a little faster than usual. There's no noise, no pain, just an unexplained urgency. You try to fall back asleep, but it doesn't come. What you may not realize is that your blood sugar could be the reason. Experts explain that as we age, the body becomes more sensitive to fluctuations in glucose, especially during the night. And for many seniors, the combination of lighter eating, slower digestion, and changes in metabolism creates the perfect storm for a blood sugar crash, right in the middle of your sleep cycle. Doctors have observed that when blood sugar drops too low while you're sleeping, your body sees it as an emergency. It reacts by releasing stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to bring your sugar levels back up. But these same hormones also make your heart race, your brain wake up, and your entire system feel alert, even if you were deeply asleep. That's why it's often around 3 a.m. It's not just insomnia. It's your body rescuing itself from what it sees as danger. Skipping dinner or eating the wrong type of meal in the evening can make this worse. Seniors sometimes lose appetite in the evening or avoid eating to sleep lighter. But studies show that when you go to bed without enough fuel, especially without protein, your blood sugar can drop rapidly after midnight. That's when your body is at rest, not getting any new energy, and relying entirely on what's already in your system. If that energy runs out, your brain gets the message that something is wrong, and it wakes you up to fix it. Eating high-carb snacks late at night can also backfire. They cause a quick spike in blood sugar, which may feel satisfying for the moment. But what follows is a steep drop, known as a glucose crash. Doctors warn that this crash is especially harsh during sleep because it happens without you noticing, until your body jolts you awake. You might wake up feeling anxious, sweaty, or slightly dizzy. You may not connect the dots, but this pattern, especially if it happens night after night, is your body's way of asking for balance. The link between nighttime blood sugar and sleep quality is stronger than most people realize. Research shows that unstable glucose levels disrupt deep sleep and increase nighttime awakenings, especially in older adults. Over time, this poor sleep affects everything: memory, energy, mood, even immune function. And because these sugar crashes are silent, many seniors never realize they're happening. They just assume it's part of aging or blame it on stress. But in reality, a small change in eating habits can often bring big relief. The good news is that this type of wake-up call is one of the easiest to fix. Experts suggest that a light, protein-rich snack before bed can help keep blood sugar steady through the night. Something simple, like a slice of turkey, a few almonds, or a spoonful of plain yogurt, gives your body slow, stable energy that lasts until morning. This prevents the glucose drop, and with it, the stress response that wakes you up. Avoiding sugary treats or starchy snacks before bed is just as important. Foods like cookies, white bread, or sweet cereal may seem comforting, but they don't sustain your body through sleep. Instead, they create spikes and crashes that confuse your system and rob you of the deep rest your brain and body need. Doctors emphasize that for seniors, even small imbalances can have big effects, especially when they repeat night after night. If you find yourself waking around the same time each night, especially with a racing heart or a dry mouth, pay attention to your evening routine. Your body may not need more sleep aids, it may just need better fuel. When blood sugar is balanced, the body stays calm. When it's calm, you stay asleep. And that kind of sleep helps every part of you function better, from your memory to your muscles to your mood. Sleep is healing, but only when it's uninterrupted and peaceful. If your blood sugar is crashing in the night, your rest is being stolen by something preventable. The answer isn't complicated. It's in the small choices you make before you close your eyes. Your body is wise. It speaks in signals. And waking at 3 a.m. may be its gentle way of saying, "Feed me better, and I'll let you rest." Give it what it needs, and it will thank you with deeper sleep, brighter mornings, and steadier energy to carry you through the day. You wake up in the middle of the night again, feeling that familiar pressure in your lower belly. It's 3 a.m. Your bladder won't let you rest. At first, it may seem normal, a little inconvenience. But doctors have observed that for seniors, waking up at this hour to urinate could be more than just aging. It may be your body signaling stress in your bladder or kidneys. And if ignored, this signal can grow into something much more serious over time. As we age, the bladder loses some of its strength and elasticity. It can't hold as much as it once did, and it becomes more sensitive to even small amounts of urine. This leads to frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom. But studies show that these early awakenings can also point to deeper issues, like kidney strain or undiagnosed urinary problems. The kidneys, which are responsible for filtering waste and balancing fluid, also become less efficient with age. And when they struggle, the signs often appear during sleep. Doctors explain that nighttime urination, known as nocturia, can be one of the first symptoms of kidney trouble. In a healthy body, fluid production slows down at night, allowing for uninterrupted sleep. But when the kidneys are under stress, whether from high blood pressure, diabetes, or years of wear and tear, this process is disrupted. The body starts pushing out urine at all hours, including during the time when you need deep healing rest. Bladder irritation is another common cause. For many seniors, conditions like an overactive bladder or mild infections can go unnoticed during the day, but flare up at night. The result is the same: broken sleep, a sense of urgency, and sometimes even discomfort. Doctors warn that these disturbances, if they become a nightly pattern, can drain your energy, weaken immunity, and impair concentration, all from sleep that's constantly being interrupted. What makes this especially important is how quietly these changes happen. Kidney disease in its early stages rarely shows pain. It doesn't announce itself with dramatic symptoms. It whispers, through fatigue, through slightly higher blood pressure, through a restless night marked by 3 a.m. awakenings. By the time more obvious signs appear, damage may already be happening. That's why experts urge seniors to pay close attention to their nighttime patterns. One of the most overlooked causes of these wake-ups is something very simple: drinking too much fluid too close to bedtime. While staying hydrated is essential, doctors explain that timing matters. Drinking large amounts of water or tea in the late evening increases the pressure on the bladder just as your body tries to rest. It may seem harmless, but when repeated night after night, it trains your body to wake up. Over time, this disrupts your internal clock and prevents the deeper stages of sleep your body needs to recover and repair. The solution isn't to stop drinking water. It's to be smarter about when and how. Experts suggest drinking more fluids earlier in the day and tapering off in the evening. Regular bathroom habits also help. If your body is used to releasing urine at certain times, it's less likely to wake you suddenly in the night. And if you notice any changes, like darker urine, stronger odor, or more urgency, those are gentle signs your kidneys or bladder may need attention. What's most concerning is that many seniors accept this as normal. They adjust to broken sleep, brushing it off as just getting older. But sleep is not a luxury. It's the foundation of healing. And if your kidneys or bladder are interrupting it every night, it's your body asking for care. Studies link chronic nocturia to higher risks of depression, falls, and even cardiovascular stress. Not because of the bathroom trip itself, but because of the toll that poor sleep takes over time. But there is hope. These signals, when noticed early, can lead to changes that protect your health. Adjusting fluid intake, monitoring bathroom patterns, and getting a simple kidney function test can make all the difference. When caught early, kidney issues can be managed or even slowed, and a calmer bladder can restore your ability to sleep through the night, without interruption, without worry. Waking at 3 a.m. with bladder pressure isn't just a nuisance. It's a message, one that's easy to overlook but too important to ignore. Your body is speaking, gently but clearly. It's asking you to care for your kidneys, to protect your rest, and to take these signals seriously. You deserve to sleep through the night. You deserve to wake up feeling rested and strong. And that begins by listening to what your body is trying to say, starting now. You open your eyes at 3 a.m. The world is still, the silence deep. There's no noise, no pain, no urgency, just wakefulness. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, wondering why. And yet, it happens again the next night, and the next. Experts in sleep psychology have observed that waking at 3 a.m. can sometimes have little to do with the body, and everything to do with the heart, the spirit, and the deep, unspoken parts of the mind. Especially in the later years of life, this gentle interruption may not be a problem, but a message. Studies show that seniors often experience a shift in emotional and spiritual awareness as they grow older. As the body slows, the heart opens in new ways. And sometimes the silence of night is the only time when these feelings can be heard. Sleep specialists explain that waking at 3 a.m. can reflect the brain's natural rhythm, moving through light and deep stages. But when the mind is carrying something that hasn't been expressed, a grief, a question, a longing, the lightest part of sleep becomes the place where it surfaces. Loneliness is one of the most common emotional weights carried quietly by seniors. Even surrounded by family or friends, there can be moments of feeling unseen or unheard. Doctors have observed that these feelings don't always show up during the day. The distractions of routine and conversation can keep them away. But in the quiet of night, when there's nothing pulling your attention, the heart finally speaks. And when it does, it may gently wake you, not to disturb you, but to remind you there's something within that needs care. This kind of awakening can also reflect a deeper emotional transformation. Later life often brings profound reflection. You begin to look back and at choices, relationships, moments of joy, and moments of regret. Psychologists explain that this inner review is part of the aging journey. It's natural, it's human. And sometimes it brings with it a stirring, a desire for clarity, closure, or connection. Waking at 3 a.m. may be your spirit asking for space to feel, to think, to pray, or simply to sit with yourself. Many people feel frustrated when this happens. They turn on the light, they reach for their phone. They try to force sleep to return, but sleep researchers suggest a different approach. Instead of resisting, pause. Let the moment be. Breathe gently. Listen to what your mind and body might be saying. Use the time for quiet reflection, for a short prayer, for simple gratitude. These soft, mindful practices can actually calm the nervous system and allow sleep to return more naturally than any pill or distraction. For some, this hour becomes a sacred pause, a time where the rush of the world disappears, where the noise of the day cannot intrude, and in that space a person reconnects with themselves, with a memory, or with a deeper sense of meaning. Studies show that people who embrace this kind of moment with openness often return to sleep more peacefully and carry a sense of calm into the next day. It's not about solving problems. It's about acknowledging the parts of your life that want to be felt. Waking at 3 a.m. may also be connected to life purpose. As people age, questions of what now or what still matters can rise quietly in the heart. These aren't signs of confusion. They're signs of awakening, of noticing that time is precious, of realizing that there may still be stories to share, people to forgive, or love to give. This awareness can feel unsettling at first, but when honored gently, it brings a kind of peace that no sleep aid ever could. This hour doesn't have to be something you dread. It can be a moment of deep personal truth. Experts remind us that the body and mind are deeply connected. If you're waking up in the same quiet hour each night, and nothing physical is calling you, consider that your soul might be. And instead of turning away, turn inward. Let it speak. Let it guide you, because even in stillness, you are growing. Your body knows when to rest, and it knows when to listen. If you're waking at 3 a.m. and all is quiet around you, perhaps it's because something within you needs to be heard, not in fear, but in love. This moment, though unexpected, could be a gift, a chance to reflect, a moment to reconnect, a small sacred doorway into understanding who you are now and who you're still becoming. Embrace it with gentleness, and when sleep returns, let it carry you back with peace.